You must remember, always remember this one thing. It is nothing but your thoughts. It is nothing but the words in your mind. It is nothing but what you think about that creates your reality. I know that we talk a lot about detaching from these thoughts. We talk a lot about detaching ourselves and stopping the identification that we have with the thoughts that are in our head. And that's important because when we become attached to the words in our minds, we get wrapped up in them. And so when they're negative, we believe that we are negative. So if I have a negative thought, this is what happens. The first thing is my negative thoughts create a negative reality. If I have the belief, if I have the inner thought that the people around me are against me, then I'm going to be presented with evidence, both by my mind and by the environment, that these people that I'm talking about are against me. But if I believe that I am that thought, if I identify with that thought, and so then I cling to it. I cling to it and I do not let it go. I don't allow my mind to be changed. And so no matter how much evidence I am given to the contrary of that belief, because I am identified with the thought and I'm clinging to it, I will not let it go. And therefore, my thought will never change to another thought. And so that is the importance of detaching from the identification that we have with the thoughts in the mind. We must detach from the thoughts of the mind for this reason, because we cannot change them if we are attached to them. And so you must understand that they are not you. They are something different. Now, here is the second most important. This is the second thing. It's not the most important thing, but it is the second point. So first, we detach from the mind. We detach from the thoughts in the mind. The second is we realize what in Buddhism is sometimes called no mind. And so you get to a point through meditation where you are capable of not having thoughts. Now, this is very interesting because it ties into the third thing that I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to go to the third thing and then come back to the second. Your thoughts create your reality. This is the third thing. Everything that you think of is what creates the universe around you. Your experience here is only had through thought. Without thought, there would be no experience because there would be no consciousness. There would be no interpretation of the information being taken in. There's nothing if there is not thoughts. And so the second part where I say that it is important for us to experience no thought, because they talk about this in Buddhism and Hinduism, it's important for us to experience no thought, because in experiencing no thought, we understand the connection between our thoughts and the creation of our reality. That when the mind, which spins on its own, is allowed to wind down enough and the thoughts stop rapid firing out of our brains, that we stop experiencing life in general. And so you understand that your experience and your thoughts are the same. What you experience is what you think. You see? So when your thoughts stop, your experience stops. That's the realization. That's what you come to when you allow yourself to sit still long enough and you experience mental silence, which happens on accident sometimes, and you realize that you just snap from one place to the other, right? And that's because you're not thinking, and in that time period, there's no thought happening. Like when you go to sleep at night and you wake up in the morning and it feels instantaneous, and it's because there's no thought happening. And because there's no thought happening, there's no experience of reality. You cannot have an experience of reality without thinking about it. And so obviously, your thoughts are what controls the reality. You even move your body with thought. Try to move your hand without thinking about moving your hand. Try to walk without thinking about walking. It happens sometimes, but it's different. And so the most important thing that we remember is that we are creating our reality every single day with our thoughts. The words that you use. So this is what I was talking about. I just created another video talking about this, but I'm going to talk about it again. You need to, when you have a negative thought, instead of stuffing it away, instead of hiding it and pretending that it's not there, ignoring it and trying to avoid it, look at it directly. When you have a negative thought, something that aches you, look at it directly, stare it in its face, and give it a hug. Look at that thought directly, accept it, acknowledge it, give it a space in you, and reframe it as a positive thought. Everything that you experience in this life is for your growth if you believe it to be so. But everything that you experience in this life is to your detriment if you believe that to be so. And so you have the choice as a person to every single day, in every moment of every single day, walk through your life and choose to see every experience that you have as something that is for your benefit. And I promise that if you do that, this world will open up for you, because your thoughts are what are creating it in the first place. When you think something, this universe says, yes, you're correct. Yes, you're correct. Yes, you're correct. And that's every single thought that you have. None of them are excluded. And so that's why this can be some sort of difficult for us sometimes. It can be difficult for us to navigate the world this way sometimes, because we don't understand that it's every single thought that we have. So if you have a tinge of doubt about this thing that you want to work out, if there's a lingering doubt underneath you have positivity about it, but you're also kind of on the fence at the same time. You know what I mean? Like if you're trying to manifest something, you're trying to make something happen, and you believe, you're 60% in, but you're 40% out. Just as I don't like to use concepts like that, but just as a way of giving you a visual of what I'm talking about, it is totally possible that this 40%, as you approach whatever it is that you're talking about, or you get closer to it, maybe it grows a little bit and it starts to overcome the positive thought. And so you spin out before you get there, right? And so this is why it's important for us to be very, very conscious about what we think, and then be patient and compassionate and persistent and committed. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with the outcome. Okay? Be patient with what's happening, and don't get frustrated. Don't get upset with things just because it didn't work out exactly the way you wanted to, because remember, everything that happens is for your benefit. And love and compassion will get you through everything in this world. Love and compassion will carry you through this world in that way. Because by practicing love and compassion for yourself and for the people around you, you will cultivate an inner joy, an inner peace and joy. Because what you need to understand is that when people do bad things, or they do something that seems negative or that we don't like, you have to understand that that person is not any different than you. We have this idea that while it is true that everybody has their own unique experience and their thoughts go to their own places and blah 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 blah, we are all different in our own ways. But you have to understand that if somebody does something negative or something wrong or whatever, it's not because this person is some evil, I don't even know what I want to say, like malicious being. Although they might have malice and what we would consider to be evil in their heart at this moment, that person's nature is the same as your nature. And so their being has been brought in some way to this point in time where they are capable of doing these things that you see. Like when all of this violence and war and conflict and genocide and everything that happens in this world is not evil like the devil, but is the confusion of the human spirit. It is illusion and insanity and a discontinuity of the real nature of things in the consciousness of the people who are responsible for these actions. And so you must practice compassion for them. You don't have to like them the way that you like your best friend. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that you need to understand that if somebody does something that is morally wrong to another person, no matter how much that person thinks that they are correct, that person is just confused. And it's not just confused in the way that, like, I thought a 6 was a 9, right? It's not that kind of confused. It's that they have maybe over years, maybe over decades of life, have developed an altered negative worldview about this group of people, or about themselves, or about people in general, or about blah blah blah, or this idea that I have to hurt other people to get ahead, and all of these things. All of it is rooted in ignorance and confusion. Some of it is willful, some of it is not willful. Some of it is willful for a reason that you wouldn't be able to understand unless it was you too. But there is a reason there. Okay? And so that's why it's important for us to practice compassion for our fellow human beings, even when they do things that we don't like, even when they do things that we don't agree with, even when we do things that to us appear to be evil. That's why forgiveness, love, and compassion are so important. because those people are confused. And by acting that way, by filling yourself up with these things, by filling yourself up with love and compassion and forgiveness, by doing that, you're inherently pushing yourself into the positive side of things. And you'll break out of that hole. You'll break out of that hole that you've been dug into by your negative thoughts. So let's talk about this one more time, okay? I'm gonna go through it again. It is important for us to detach from our thoughts and stop identifying with them. The reason that it's important is because when we attach to and identify ourselves with our thoughts, if we have a negative thought, it is impossible for us to change it. We get stuck to it. It gets stuck to us. It becomes a rigid and concrete part of the way that we view the world. And so, by the way, the people that I'm talking about, the people who do bad shit, the reason is because they're attached to those thoughts. If I'm exposed to a thought, let's talk about somebody that we obviously don't like. Let's talk about racists, right? So if I develop this thought that I don't like black people, or say that thought pops into your head, then you attach to that thought, it becomes a rigid belief instead of just a passing, oh, what the fuck, why did I think that, you know? Or it could be anything like that. Oh, I don't like people with that haircut. I don't like people that listen to this song, right? It may just be like your identification with that thought is the difference between it being something that just like popped up and then is like, whoa, what the hell? And then it goes away, or becoming a part of your actual belief system. And so that's number one, why it's important for us to detach and stop identifying with our thoughts, is because when we have a bad thought, when we have a negative thought, it's impossible for us to let go of it and move on and change it. And the second thing is having the experience of no mind. Pay attention to this because it will happen to you again. It happens to everybody. Everybody has this experience of no mind. Whether you're driving or you get lost, you zone out for a second when you're walking down the street, or when you sleep. Sleeping is an extreme experience of no mind. Unless you dream, somebody who dreams a lot, but think about the times that you don't and how fast it feels between when you go to bed and when you wake up. That's an experience of no mind. And so that is the precursor to understanding that your 3 thoughts create reality. Your thoughts create this reality in its entirety. Your experience of reality is 100% completely dictated by your thoughts. So whatever you believe is going to be what you're shown. All right. Thank you very, very much for being here with me. Thank you for sharing this space with me. Much love to all of you guys. In the description below, I am going to link my Discord server that's sort of surrounding this channel. I didn't create the server. It was created by the community. It's a beautiful place with beautiful people. So please, I would love it if you guys joined that server. And secondly, I'm going to link my second channel, Jameson, where I'm just doing random stuff, like making music and playing games and hanging out and talking and being funny. So if you want to join me over there, that would be great. Much love to all of you guys again. Thank you very much for sharing this space with me, and I will see you in the next video.